couple grid tips and tricks that will help you with your grid workflow. First of all, you can toggle the grid by pressing G, just like that. And you'll see this small panel, and here on the left you'll see your settings for your columns and for your gutter, and here you'll see settings for your vertical rhythm and density visualization, and here you'll see the color of the grid that you can change to any color you want. So first you can adjust amount of columns, you can adjust width of the columns, and you can adjust widths of gutters and stuff like that. You can also adjust your vertical rhythm, and you can also change how your vertical rhythm is being visualized. So depends how dense your grid you want your grid to look. You can choose one of those settings. We can keep the most dense ones. So couple shortcuts. First, and this one is a huge time saver. In Control, you can put your element on the grid with this one simple shortcut. So imagine you want to put this text by its baseline on the grid. You can of course try to snap it, and it snaps pretty well most of the times, but if you want to do it in a click, you just hit Shift, Command and arrow down in a direction of the snap, and it will be snapped. And then you can use Shift and arrow down to nudge your text on the grid so it will fit this title, for example. You can do similar things with your objects. So imagine you want to have this object and you want to snap it on the grid. You can hit Shift, Command up. It will snap it on the vertical axis, and you can also move it horizontally by hitting Shift, Command, left or right. So if you hit left, it's going to go like here. If you hit right, it's going to snap to its right corner. This one is pretty useful. And you can also use Micromodal Nudge by pressing Shift and arrow key to move your object on the grid. And if you change the value of your vertical rhythm to be 30, for example, then what you can do, you can hit Shift, Command up to snap it to the closest micromodal, and then you can just use Shift and down and up to move your object on your grid. We can repeat the same thing with this bit, just like that, and then it also always on your grid. This snapping feature shortcut is super useful when you deal with the smaller bits of text, and it always respects the first line of text and puts it on a baseline. So for example, here, if you want to quickly put this one on the grid line, you hold Shift, Command down, and your text is being put automatically on the grid line. Those were a couple useful shortcuts and tips and tricks for your grid workflow. Go in the Control and try by yourself.